Hello, good evening and welcome to the Yorkshire Business Masters 2020. My name's Alex Turner, I'm the Joint Managing Director of the Business Desk, and I will be taking you through the next hour or so as we try and bring that magic of the awards ceremony to you at home. It's great to have so many of you with us online for what is our first and also hopefully our last virtual Yorkshire Business Masters. But we thought it was important that we still deliver the awards, partly because we've had a box of trophies in our office since March, but because actually there are an awful lot of great stories that we want to celebrate and showcase from across the Yorkshire region. Now, if we think back to spring and March time when we were looking to originally deliver these awards in person, and just remember what life was like in January, February, March. 2019 we thought had been a year full of uncertainty. We'd had the election in December. In January, apparently Brexit had got done, and there was that sense, I think, amongst many of us that February, March, the rest of 2020 brought opportunity. There was, I think, a sense of optimism. There was a sense of clarity. What little we knew. But one of the really interesting things, and hopefully we will showcase that properly over the next hour, is our judges back in January picked a short list of businesses that are still in good shape now. And I think that's because of the intrinsic qualities of those businesses that have made the shortlist. While they have great products, great client bases, actually it's also about the sense of innovation, resilience, leadership, and I think that those qualities really stand all businesses in good stead. And Yorkshire has lots of businesses that we are rightly proud of, and our shortlist and our winners tonight are definitely among that group. One of the other things that I think has been really notable and valuable over the last 6-7 months has been that sense of community. I think it's long been talked about. People always talk about the business community, but I think over the last few months that really has come to the fore. That sense where networking has moved to real partnership, real collaboration, and I know there are plenty of people who've benefited from that on an individual basis and on a corporate basis. At the business desk, we're no different. We're very fortunate to have lots of people support us in all sorts of ways. So to you, I'd like to say thank you very much for your support this year, and in previous years. And we look forward to working together collaboratively in the years ahead as well. Tonight is a really good example of some of those partnerships that we are fortunate to have in place. So I'd like to say thank you to our sponsors for our Business Masters Awards tonight. So to Sheffield City Region, Cleek 100, In the Circle, Tested, Boxfish, Together, Lupton Fawcett and eBay. Thank you very much for your support tonight. And we look forward to being able to share our collaborations and partnerships in person, hopefully in the not too distant future. But linking those ideas of partnership and community together, and as our opening video from Ian at the Haworth and Worth Valley Rotary Club showed, we are pleased to be able to support tonight Sue Ryder's Manorlands Hospice. I think the last 6-7 months have been difficult for lots of people, but charities in particular have struggled because their usual fundraising opportunities have been diminished or cancelled altogether. So tonight we're looking to support the Sue Ryder organisation. And to tell you a little bit more about the work that they do, we're going to just see a short video, first showing Vicky's story, and then from Hayley Ibbotson from Sue Ryder to tell you a little bit more about how you can get involved. So first, Vicky's story.
I've worked at Sue Ryder Manorlands for 15 years. It was like a job to me. And I felt privileged to be able to care for people at the different stages in their life, and especially when they were dying. In March 2012, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And then in 2018, I found a lump in my neck, which had spread from the breast, so it was secondary and classed as terminal. Now becoming a patient, I'm thankful that I was referred here and not anywhere else. As I walked through the door, I realised that it was one of my best friends on duty. She just composed herself, got me a wheelchair and wheeled me to my room. They go above and beyond, all of them. Complementary therapy, physiotherapy, consultants, fundraising teams. I don't think I'd have had such a good quality of life if I didn't have that support and treatment. My new hobby is my granddaughter. I can't explain the love I've got for her. Granddad's bought us some wellies. So that's my next goal, that I will be here and I will see her in them wellies. First thing I'd say to anybody who were coming into Sue Ryder Manor is don't be frightened. The treatment, the love and support from everybody. You can't get that anywhere else. Special place. Very.
Thank you so much for inviting us here tonight to the Yorkshire Business Masters Awards. I hope the video that you've just seen really helps you to understand the difference that you can make to our patients and their families when it matters most. 2020 continues to be a challenging year, with our shops just reopening after a foreseeable time closed, and obviously our fundraising events have been ceased until the end of this year. Your support really could make a difference to limit the long-term impact of coronavirus here at the hospice, to make sure we can still be there for our patients and their loved ones. If you'd like to support us, it would be much appreciated, and you can do this by visiting our website at sueryder.org/donate. Thank you so much for your support. It really does make a difference.
Thank you, Hayley, and I'm sure you all appreciate the hard work that goes into running an organisation like the Manlands Hospice, and what great work it does. So just to reiterate the website address to donate, it's sueryder.org/donate. We appreciate, these are tough times for everybody. Also that there's a sort of natural quid pro of going to a black tie dinner, often as a guest, and being asked to put some money into the charity envelope. But if you're able to put some money into the virtual charity envelope, that really would be appreciated. And as you go through, do tag Manorlands as the hospice that you want to help. Now, in terms of some other housekeeping, obviously virtual events are improved by the chat that goes on away from the stage. So we do have a hashtag for tonight's event, which is Masters20. So get onto Twitter. You can pass comments as how the evening's going. Post a photo of your outfit. You'll see shortly that our Yorkshire editor, Ben, has gone full black tie just because he can or wanted to. So do keep him busy with the conversation online as well. Now, how it's going to work. So it's just going to be like a normal awards ceremony. I'm going to announce the shortlist. You're going to whoop and holler at home. The winner will then be announced. There'll be more whooping and hollering. When the shortlist is announced, the nominees will appear on screen, and then the winner will be projected forward on screen. I will ask a couple of very gentle questions of the winner, just looking to tease out a little bit of the organisation story and their successes so that we can share some of that with you tonight. I'd also just like to thank our judges. I wasn't involved in the judging process, thankfully. That tough job was left to Ben, our Yorkshire editor, and to our independent judges, who were the CBI Regional Director, Becky Hart, Mark Robson from the Department of International Trade, Kishore Taylor, the Chief Executive of Humber Lep, and Diane Cheeseborough, a former Masters winner and now a chairperson and non-exec director of several exciting businesses across Yorkshire and the north of England. So thank you to our judges for their time and contribution to this process. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to the chair of the judges and the best dressed man in Yorkshire, Ben Ormsby.
Thanks, Alex, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2020 Yorkshire Business Masters. I'd like to start this evening by saying thank you for joining us on what is the 10th anniversary of these awards, albeit in very different capacity than normal. Normally, we'd be in the Queen's Hotel, raising a glass, sharing a meal, and instead tonight, we're doing this all from the comfort of our own homes. All except Alex, of course, who's on stage. But in a year like 2020, it feels more important than ever to take the opportunity to celebrate the fantastic businesses and their achievements that exist. We know that a global pandemic has changed the way that we all live and work, but some things remain the same. And one of those things is that Yorkshire is, and always will be, a fantastic place to do business. This is my first year involved in these awards as an editor, and I'm pleased to say that the quantity and calibre of entries was magnificent. Although I'm not sure that should be a surprise, considering, as we've said, Yorkshire is God's own county and home to some amazing businesses. Now that's hard for a Lancastrian to say, but it's true. So that leads me on to a few thank yous. The first is a thank you to my judges, or my fellow judges, who, as an independent panel, helped select the fantastic finalists tonight. I'm sure you'll all agree that the winners are worthy, but that actually simply making the shortlist is an achievement in its own right. Thank you to all the businesses that took the time to enter. We love hearing your stories, and at thebusinessdesk.com, we're proud to be part of the community to share in your achievements. And finally, thank you to all you. You've taken the time out of your Thursday evenings to join us, to celebrate and cheer the winners, and remember why Yorkshire is such a fantastic business community. I hope that in 2021, we'll be back to the Queen's, back to the dinners, and back to being able to meet and socialise together. But until then, thank you very much for joining. Enjoy the show, and cheers. Back to you, Alex.
Thank you, Ben. I'm glad one of us is able to enjoy a glass of wine while we work. So that's the introductory formalities over with. On to the awards. Our first award is our Newcomer Award. This award is designed to showcase those businesses that have been in existence for 3 years or fewer. Really to recognise the the skill and endeavour and enthusiasm that goes into running a startup business. We've got some great companies on our shortlist, and they are Crescent Virtual Assistant, Lifestyle Flooring UK, Meteoric Marketing, Simply Video, and Slanted Theory. And I'm delighted to announce that the winner of our Newcomer Award is Simply Video. Alex, congratulations and welcome to our virtual awards. Our judges must have been very prescient to have selected a video conferencing company as our newcomer back in January. How's the year been?
Yeah, I think very much so, Alex. And yeah, it's been a very challenging year. And whilst I'm very pleased to win this award, what I would like to say first of all is it's a really tough year for everyone. So I'm rooting for everyone out there that is having business difficulties. So whilst we're thrilled to accept it, we wish everyone the best to keep the wheels of industry turning. Yeah,
I think it's particularly difficult when you, as a newcomer business, that's trying to really develop that momentum to have this roadblock in the way. But how are you looking to push forward in the next year or so?
Okay, I mean, the big thing for us, Alex, is like anything, whilst our placement in video and what we've done as, you know, COVID has helped it, undoubtedly. The big white space we were aiming for has really been consumed by Zoom. We're all on Zoom this evening. So, and I tend to think that video is now a commodity, video conferencing. So we're trying to aim just a touch higher. And what we've done is really, we've taken our video platform and we've taken it into the wearable sector. Yeah, some sexy tech that has AR and VR and connected to our video platform that we can connect back to everything else. So that takes us outside the conversation and comparison to either Zoom or Teams, which are two of the well-known products. And really that's putting us in a very good scenario as we head into 2021, as video is now accepted in the mainstream as a decent form of communication. So we're really trying to put video into business process now, take it from a face-to-face like we are doing now and actually put it into business process.
So it sounds great, and actually some of those themes you've touched on, I think we will hear a lot about tonight around being nimble, being disruptive, about, you know, the next, about using tech to push the business forward. So congratulations on the award, Alex, and good luck with the future.
Thanks very much, Alex, and good luck to everyone else tonight. And we're rooting for the UK economy.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I told you the questions would be gentle. So our second award is our Innovation Award, which is sponsored by In the Circle. This award, the judges were really looking for businesses that stood out in doing something that bit different, that bit more interesting, and also that was really delivering results rather than just innovation for the sake of it. Again, another great shortlist for our Innovation Award. And the businesses on that list are Owen 3, the Oil Family, POLYPIPE, S2S Group, Tribosonics, and Essential Healthcare Solutions. And I'd like to introduce Alec Walton from In the Circle to tell us who's won.
The Business Desk shortlist for the innovation category of this year's Masters Awards had some stellar businesses. It's great to see that the Yorkshire businesses are still at the forefront of innovation and creativity. The winner of this year's award for innovation, sponsored by us here in the Circle, is a company that has sustainability as well as innovation as one of its core values. So I'm delighted to announce that POLYPIPE is the winner of this year's Masters Award for innovation.
Congratulations, Eleanor. I think, as Alex said in the build-up there, you know, sustainability is really important to POLYPIPE, and it was those innovations that I think caught the judges' eyes. I think the entry talked very strongly about the twin challenges of managing water and carbon resource. So could you just give us a flavour of how POLYPIPE has innovated to address those challenges?
POLYPIPE has its own factory down in Aylesworth where it actually recycles quite a lot of the plastic that we use. Quite a lot of that plastic is then used in our pipes, but we also do a lot more than just pipes. We actually have management solutions for water. So when there is quite a lot of rain like there was last year, we try to work with companies so that we can actually move that away quicker so that you're not getting the flooding that we did in December 2019.
And I think the other standout point from your entry was the sense of leadership around those issues. So the development of blue-green roofs, the work that you've done at your, I think, Kent site, and trying to show the industry more broadly how this all works. Is it important to POLYPIPE to take that lead?
It is, yeah. We find that we want people to come to us so that we can help with their solutions from the start. So we're not just looking at a project when they've got to the point that they need the drainage, they need the pipes. We want to work with companies so we can actually be at the forefront of putting this innovation into their projects. So that could be with roads, with structures, with buildings, with housing estates, because there's a lot now being built on land that's never been built before, and the water table's got to go somewhere. So POLYPIPE would work with those companies to try and be the solution that they need, really.
Well, you know, there's an awful lot of fantastic work being done out of Doncaster and around the country by POLYPIPE. So a real regional success story. So congratulations.
Thank you.
On to our investment award. This one, very much as it says on the tin, the judges are looking for those businesses that have made an investment that has delivered, you know, strong commercial results and is part of a sustainable and robust strategy. So our shortlist for the investment award is Channel 4 Leeds City Region, Davil Furniture, SEVENHILLS Fabrication, and Sheffield FORGEMASTERS. And I'm delighted to announce that our winner is Sheffield FORGEMASTERS. Congratulations. I think, you know, many people are familiar with Sheffield FORGEMASTERS, obviously such an important company in the region, but they're probably less familiar with both, you know, the investments that were made recently, but that being part of kind of a transformation strategy for the business. So just briefly capture for us, if you can, how the investment has helped with that strategy.
Yeah, so we started a transformation program back in 2018, and that was all about bringing the business up to a much better standard. There's parts of our business that go back to the 1800s, so it's not the most modern site in the world. So the parts that we produce are you know, parts for really critical components, critical applications. So we do a lot of work for defence, nuclear. So the quality of the products coming out of our site has to be top notch. So a lot of the investment's gone into new machinery, which means that we can machine more accurately. They can be more quickly produced through the factory. But then there's also other things around the site. So we've done a lot of investment in flood defences. We're right by the river in Sheffield. So there's a lot of other things that have gone on around the site, all part of the transformation programme and bringing us up to scratch.
And what the wider benefits of that investment, you know, to the community, to the workforce, and to South Yorkshire more generally?
I mean, the biggest bonus, I suppose, for everyone is that we are quite unique in the UK. In there is no one else that can produce the size of components, the complexity of components that we can produce. So the largest is over 350 tonnes that we've produced. So they're not small things coming out of the factory. So it's a very unique capability in the UK. If it was not around, then, you know, it's a severe lack of capability for the UK and things that are developing now. So small nuclear reactors, modular reactors, sorry, offshore wind development. It's all things that can come to Sheffield and benefit the Yorkshire region as a whole, as well as the wider UK economy.
Yeah, and certainly it's a business that Yorkshire and the UK is proud of. So congratulations on your investment award and good luck with the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next award is our Contributing to the Community award. And this is designed to reflect those businesses and organisations who really do go the extra mile, who are very aware and connected to their communities and do something that has real impact, whether it's in the local community with groups that they work with or on a bigger theme or issue. Again, great organisations on our shortlist, which is HARWORTH, KPMG, POLYPIPE, Shine, and the Works Recruitment. And to tell you who's won, I'd like to welcome back onto the screen Hayley from Sue Ryder Manorlands.
And the winner of the Contributing to the Community Award, sponsored by Sue Ryder Manorlands Hospice, is Shine.
Fantastic.
Congratulations, Dawn. I think for people in Leeds, an awful lot of them will be familiar with the work that Shine does. But perhaps if you could just tell us a little bit about, it has an impact on the community in several different areas. But if you could just share some of those areas with us.
Okay, I mean, on the face of it, we're just a conference centre and catering company, but we employ about 20% of our workforce are women ex-offenders. So we spend a lot of time rehabilitating those women and their stars in the organisation. But we also do a lot with the local children in Harehalls around raising aspirations and creating opportunities, and also supporting entrepreneurs.
And you're a social enterprise yourself, so that gets no government grants. So I assume this year has been difficult. How can the Leeds and Yorkshire business community help support your work?
The best way of supporting it is basically buying food, or even if just booking small meetings at Shine is the best way that you can support, and then that revenue then goes into doing great stuff.
Yeah, and I think the judges were really enthusiastic about the impact of the work that your organisation continues to do. So it's very impressive. So congratulations and good luck with in the future.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Moving on from the local to the international, our International Trade Award. As I said in the beginning, 2019 was a challenge for those people who work internationally with a lot of uncertainty that has continued through into this year. But there are a number of great Yorkshire businesses working around the world, and we have some of those on our shortlist tonight. So those businesses are Crisp, M2R Education, MAXIMISE, Savile Group, and Sound Leisure. And the winner of our 2020 International Trade Award is MAXIMISE. You'll have to replace that with something that includes bubbles shortly. But
I will, yes.
Well, welcome, Andy, and congratulations. Now, MAXIMISE is a small business that not many people will be familiar with, but they are very familiar with your products. So if you could tell our audience what you do and why it's so successful.
We supply tester blotter strips for testing aromas and scents, which if you go and buy a perfume in a retail store and you spray it onto the blotting card, that card is usually one of ours. So we've supplied, I think, 56 countries so far, and been going about 5 years, and over 60 million blotters that we've supplied, both UK and obviously overseas. And but they're obviously made from special absorbent board, which is FSC accredited, and you can recycle them as well. And without the blotters, you can't smell perfumes and other aromas such as whiskies and coffees and soups and cannabis oil and all sorts.
No, fantastic. And what was really impressive is the number and range of countries that you operate in for a relatively young business. So what are your aspirations and ambitions on the international front?
Well, going forward, obviously it's very challenging for any business worldwide, but we're still getting orders coming in. I mean, today we've just dispatched to both Austria and Australia. We have virtual office addresses in Australia and America, and that's obviously benefited where we actually grow into them regions. But I think that the challenge that we're still looking at is obviously once Brexit is actually sorted out, is to try and still expand into Europe. So I still think there's an opportunity there, which will be the languages. Predominantly our buyers are English speaking. So we'd like to expand on our, hopefully employ staff who are very good with languages. and then markets that within the native language, say in France, which would be French, or Italian, so that's where we sort of look from that point of view. And also insert other areas where it's not just perfumes. I mentioned cannabis oil, which is a growth market now worldwide. So, and when they're manufacturing and selling cannabis oil, you need a bottle strip to smell the actual scent.
Okay, that's every day is a school day. But it seems like there's lots of opportunity out there, and we very much look forward to following your progress on the business desk. So congratulations, Andy.
Cheers, thank you very much, and well done to everybody else for coming as well, logging on.
Thank you. If I could just pause briefly from the run of awards, just to remind you of a little bit of the housekeeping. For those of you who have a smartphone within reach, if you go onto Twitter, the hashtag is Masters20, and you can keep Ben entertained and amused as the evening goes on. And also, for those of you who are looking for the URL to donate to Sue Ryder Manlands Hospice, it's sueryder.org/donate. You'll also find the link if you go on to the top story on the businessdesk.com at the moment. The link is in the Yorkshire Business Masters story. Our next award is the Professional Services Award. Always competitively fought. We've got 3 great Yorkshire businesses on the shortlist here, each representing a different aspect of the range of professional services businesses that we have in our region. And they are Ramsden Solicitors, Squire Patton Boggs, and Whitecap Consulting. And to tell you who's won, I'd like to introduce my Joint Managing Director, Lee J. Walker.
Good evening, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to announce the winner of the Yorkshire Business Masters Professional Services Category of the Year 2020 from virtually from Haworth. The winner is Whitecap Consulting. Well done.
Congratulations. I think Whitecap's a fascinating business, and I think the judges were particularly taken by the progress and the growth it had made in 2017, 2018, 2019. The geographic expansion. What's behind that as a Leeds-based business looking to spread your wings across the UK?
Yeah, well, when we set up, we always kind of recognize this opportunity to be a regional strategy consulting business. We started in Leeds, 9 years ago or so, and we've expanded across. We now have 6 offices, and we just fill that gap between the big 4 and London strat houses and local one-man bands. And there are many businesses in our kind of audience of 10 to 300 million turnover who want some practical strategic advice, and that's the gap that we've filled. And the growth that we've had is really on the back of the client demand and expanding sectors and working with different businesses. So yeah, excellent. Really, really good. Delighted to have won this year.
Great. Yeah, and it seems to be going very well. Now, one of the things that a lot of people might know Whitecap for is your involvement with FinTech North, and really helping push the city region has been at the forefront of such a key growth sector. Why is that particularly important to you?
It's a sector that's hugely significant, both from financial services, technology. It's highly the way the industry is evolving, not just in fintech, but in other sectors, legal tech and education tech and so on. It's a great breadth. But with the fintech initiative, which is really being led by one of my colleagues, Julian Wells, and he's done a fantastic job in that area, has allowed us to connect with the community, connect with businesses, connect with investors and public sector partners. And it just helps us understand what's going on in that industry, understand the issues, And then obviously, of course, it allows us to create some other opportunities to support the businesses in the area.
No, absolutely. And a great example, I think, of a growing Leeds-based business helping the broader business community to grow and seize opportunities at the same time. So congratulations on tonight's award and good luck in the future.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our next award, we're staying with the sector specialisms, is our Property Business Award. So this is open to any business operating within the property sector, whether developers, architects, planners, placemakers, brick makers, the lot. This award is sponsored by Together, and the shortlist for our Property Business Award is Harworth, Muse, and Touchstone Education. And the winner of the 2020 award is Harworth. Welcome, Peter. Thank you for joining us. Always good to see a bookcase in the background too. So, Harworth, do a lot of fantastic work across both Yorkshire, the north, and further afield. People will be familiar with schemes like at Waverley, the Prince of Wales Colliery site in Pontefract, the Rossington Colliery site in Doncaster. What are you most proud of?
I think we've spent the past 10 years really regenerating the former industrial heartlands of the north and bringing life back to areas that had struggled for a long time. I think it's hugely important for the region, and bringing in manufacturers including McLaren. We've recently finished the nuclear fusion facility at the Advanced Manufacturing Park, and then really working with a range of really great stakeholders, both private companies and across the sort of board in terms of government bodies as well. So really just proud to bring something to Yorkshire to regenerate this area.
Yeah. And, a phrase that's got used an awful lot in recent weeks and months is build back better. And I guess really that's what Harworth has been doing since its inception, isn't it? To say, how do we create a new vision for a place that often is linked to its heritage, but delivers something of value for a generation? Do you look forward with optimism to be able to accelerate some of that work?
Absolutely, yeah. And grounding what we do in the heritage of the past is really key for us. But looking forward, there's an awful lot of exciting changes coming in the zero carbon approach, the way we transport ourselves, and I can take something positive out of the current situation. It's accelerating a lot of those changes and allowing people to look at things differently. So really see it as a great opportunity for the north, and again for continuing that regeneration story. Yeah,
and I think also one of the things that stands out with the Harworth developments is that a lot of property developments are about city centres, isn't it? But actually, most of your work is in the towns and the post-industrial areas outside of those city centres. How important is it to get those projects right in places that can occasionally feel a little unloved?
Incredibly important, both for the local communities and the wider region. What we look to do is we not only look to bring in sort of thousands of new homes, good manufacturers, but we also focus heavily on bringing reclaimed countryside ecological areas back into use, so that those surrounding communities can feel part of what is something new, but also something that's linked back to those existing communities. So, yeah.
No, well, it's impressive work. So we hope you're able to continue to grow and prosper in the years ahead. Thank you, Peter.
Cheers.
Our next award is our Family Business of the Year award. Very Ron Seal award, this one. Does exactly what it says on the tin. So we're delighted that this award is sponsored by Lupton Fawcett. So I'd just like to introduce Amanda to say a few words first.
Hello, I'm Amanda Simmons and I'm head of the Business Families team at Lupton Fawcett. We have been providing essential legal advice to family businesses through the generations. Thank you to Business Desk for allowing me to present the Family Business Award 2020 tonight.
Before she does, let me tell you who's on the shortlist. And they are Banweight Group Holdings, Owen 3 the Oil Family, SEVENHILLS Fabrication, I'm sure I just heard a whoop and holler in the distance, Speed Quizzing, and Tudor International Freight. Amanda, tell us who's won.
There've been lots of wonderful candidates, but there has to be a winner, and the winner is SEVENHILLS Fabrication. Congratulations.
Hi, James. Joe, it's great. But before we get going properly, introduce your dog to the audience.
Oh, this is Douglas. No, actually, this is Sir Douglas Harding Terry. Not a made-up name, it's actually his pedigree name, which is fantastic. And it's the first time he's been on TV, albeit a little bit virtually. Say hello, Douglas. It's quite good because he's not snoring. A massive improvement on every other evening.
Well, it's great to have him with us as well as you both.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for pointing the dog out rather than us.
Well, we need to build up. We need to build up. I mean, James, your introduction to the business, I think, came as a 7-year-old, which is often the way with family businesses. So, what has it been like to be sort of in and around, and then later more intrinsically part of what's going on?
That's a huge question, Alex. Anyway, first of all, ignoring your question completely, thank you very much for Business Desk for actually doing this evening rather than, delaying us for another 6 months or 12 months. This is the first virtual awards we've been to, so I absolutely commend you and Ben for deciding to go down this route. I think this is an absolutely fabulous evening. So well done to you guys.
No, thank you.
Now, what was the question, Alex?
What's it like?
As a 7-year-old
Yeah.
and beyond, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Family businesses are a very challenging place to be, and over generations things change spectacularly from my grandfather, who was a tool maker, all the way to us today, who, thanks to people like Sheffield City Region for supporting us on buying the latest fibre lasers and Bystronic press brakes, and Sheffield City Region have been fabulous in terms of supporting us buying the latest technology. And I guess if you look at that nearly 100-year period from tool making, where you had huge setup times, high cost setup times, all the way through to modern day agility, the ability to manufacture single pieces quickly without huge setup costs, etc. It's a long century, isn't it? And the technology has changed spectacularly, and my grandfather wouldn't recognise where we currently are. I don't think he'd recognise the idea of a laser cutter just being able to cut through steel like some sort of strange magic. And probably likewise, I wouldn't have been able to recognise him working in a tool room back in the 1940s. So it's an interesting century.
It is, and while businesses evolve and change, seemingly at increasing rates, one of the fascinating things about family businesses is they often have similar cultures, because there's a slightly different view usually in terms of kind of longevity and that sense of being a custodian. So how do you find running a family business?
Interesting.
So, yeah. So I think family businesses have their own challenges, and we travel around Europe and see family businesses literally around the world. There is conflict, there is debate, there is longevity, as you said, beyond the 3-year professional MD. If you've got the 3-year professional MD, they come in and go, oh, everything's worse than I thought, and then they spend 3 years, then they leave. The idea of a family business which lasts for 100 years, or in Sheffield actually lasts for many more than 100 years, we're pups compared to some of the other companies in Sheffield. There is clearly conflict, there is clearly disagreement, but ultimately you're all aiming, I guess, to be there for the next 100 years rather than just for the next 3 years before you move on to your next professional job.
Sorry,
so my dear wife here is going to add something to this, because clearly I've not added enough.
Sorry, can I just add from my perspective?
My mother-in-law sat in the room with us today, watching all of this on the screen. It's the first time she's been able to go to one of the
Can't quite get
awards,
around to it.
and she was part of the whole process to get us here. But the other thing that's really, really important to us that I just want to reiterate to everybody is it's not just a family by name. We work with 70 colleagues and they're all our family as far as we're concerned.
That's
and
true.
that's what makes us a family business. It's not the start, it's not the end, it's what's through the middle of everything.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And the people make our business.
Yeah, we're all one giant, massive, dysfunctional family, Alex.
Well, dysfunctional families are the most entertaining. Well, you know, congratulations on your achievements so far, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Ben. Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. And if anybody else who's on the shortlist for the remaining awards has dogs, cats, budgies near them, do make sure they can make an appearance on screen too. Our next award is our Small Business of the Year. This is for businesses with up to 50 employees, and it's to recognise, you know, the challenges and opportunities that small businesses can find. You know, the size can be a double-edged sword, as I'm sure many of them have found over recent months. Our shortlist for the Small Business Award is Otti Sleep, Simple Usability, the Technology Group, the Data Shed, and Yorkshire Payments. And I'm delighted to announce that the winner of our Small Business Award is the Data Shed. Good evening, Stuart. Welcome. Now, the Data Shed was, I think, founded in 2015. Has shown, you know, really strong growth. It's got a fantastic client base. What would you say is the secret of its success?
Well, first of all, I have to say that I don't actually work for the Data Shed, and the two co-founders, which many people know, Anna Sutton, who's the CEO, and Ed Fewlis, who's the CTO, they're up in the Highlands of Scotland, and they're having trouble dialing in tonight. So they've asked me to stand in on their behalf, and I think the main reason I'm standing in for them is that they're growing an incredibly successful, fast-growing tech business, but they're really concerned about the community, the tech community in Leeds. You know, they're very active in there, and they're active in the Leeds Digital Festival, which you know I'm a part of, and they're a sponsor of the festival. And their whole ethos is to, you know, it's not about growing their own slice of the tech sector; it's about growing the whole pie. And I think that's why they've become really successful over the last few years.
Yeah, and I think they're both great examples of, you know, benefiting from what you put in. And I think, you know, Leeds City Region has a great tech ecosystem. You're helped by people like yourself pushing that forward, and you know, it's really leading the way in lots of you know, small parts of the broader tech piece. How would you say the tech sector is faring at the moment, and where are the opportunities?
Well, I think you know, lots of tech businesses have grown successfully over COVID. I think particularly those companies that are more B2B than B2C. I think a lot of the success in Yorkshire, the Leeds City Region, Sheffield City Region, and others, a lot of it comes down to that collaboration. That's, you know, pulling together and helping each other out, and we see that across normal years, but in these very abnormal years, I think we've seen much more of that, and companies coming together, collaborating, and I think hopefully some of that growth we've seen in the tech sector this year will hopefully offset some of the economic impact we're going to see in many other sectors over the next few months.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think, you know, we talk a lot about disruption, and clearly there's going to be a lot of pain in some areas from that, but it should accelerate change, and it does feel like both the tech sector and the business world will look very different in 2 or 3 years because of the experiences that we're all having at the moment.
That's right, yeah. And it really is, and I think, you know, just coming back to Anna and Ed and the Data Shed for a second, you know, I think what they built has just been amazing. This, you know, fast-growing, multi-million-pound tech business, They've bootstrapped it themselves. They've funded it all through themselves. They've built an amazing, loyal workforce there. Worked with some incredible brands over the years, from international brands like Qantas and the Tate Group and Hermes and everything. And it's a very Yorkshire-based business. So both children of Yorkshire entrepreneurs, and just coming on the back of that last category, the family business. They're building something of real substance, and they're giving back to the tech sector and working and collaborating and taking on coders from the likes of North Coders. And it's working really, really well. And they're just an integral part of the fabric in the Leeds tech community. No, and I'm really proud to accept the award on their behalf.
Yeah, no, well, thank you for doing that, Stuart, and do pass on our congratulations to Anna and Ed as well.
That's great.
Thanks,
Alex.
Our next award is the Medium Business of the Year. The criteria for this is employees between 51 and 250 people. So quite a wide range of sizes in this category. They often have come through some of those challenges that small businesses and startups face, are often more mature, but still face a number of hurdles as they seek to grow and develop their own businesses. This award is sponsored by Tested, and our shortlist for the Medium Business Award is Crisp, Fleet on Demand, Harworth, Sotec, and Smart Search. And to tell us who's won, I'd like to welcome back a familiar face, Alec Walton.
Thanks again, Alex. Firstly, can I just say that Tested are delighted to be involved with the Business Desk, and that we are honoured to be a sponsor of the Business Desk Masters Award for a medium-sized business. This year's shortlist for the award for a medium-sized business was full of worthy entrants, but the winner shone through. The winner is a business that may be medium-sized, but has already established itself on the global market, and I'm sure will be vying for the Large Business Award very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to say that the winner of the Business Desk Medium Size Award goes to Crisp.
Thank you. Congratulations, Adam. Now, Crisp is a fascinating business focused on social media safety, but working with the dark web. And I was fascinated to read some of the detail around the number of languages that you're across. What is it like to work in such a fast-moving and fast-changing environment?
Well, I think that's the challenge that we have, is that one day you can get it right and the next day everything can absolutely change. And certainly during these really strange times, it's really interesting to hear about all the different types of businesses that are in these types of awards. And certainly for us, we've gone through a huge change again during COVID. And we probably will, hopefully next year, if we enter again and do that, we will be over 250 because of the size that we're growing. But that's because of how things change so frequently and all the time in the market that we're in. And more people are going online, which is great for us. But at the same time, more bad actors are online as well, which means we need to do more of the good to combat the bad.
Yeah. And the company had a big investment at the end of 2018 that laid the platform for a great 2019. What impact did that have on the business, and how did that help you develop?
So we did take a substantial investment, a private equity investment at the end of 2018. I would like to say that sometimes there is more luck than judgment, in that we've been doing this since 2005. We had a vision that said, do you know what, the world's going online, content is going to be generated by individuals as bad individuals. How are we going to do that at scale? And I really feel that, yes, we got the investment, but actually in the last 2 years, that vision's really come to fruition, in the sense that there are more and more people, and they are affecting society. If you look at fake news and democracy as a whole, whether you look at fake news regarding COVID-19 and 5G, or just about brands and enterprises in general. So I think the bit of luck that we all need when we've got that business, that we've got that vision, really has helped us really grow over the last few years. And we're going for a great growth spurt at the moment.
Yeah, as you said, it feels like your time has really come. What's the opportunity in the years ahead? What do you hope you'll be able to achieve?
So we were very lucky. We got a lot of questions during halfway through this year, and we'd already done our sort of 70-80% year-on-year growth at 6 months level this year. So we've been very open and honest that we want to become the next unicorn, but we want to become a unicorn that's created our own category. So basically turning that vision, something that didn't exist before. We're not really doing something new. We're creating a brand new category, one that is creating brand new employment and brand new revenue for the UK and export revenue specifically. And we want to make that into that unicorn. And we're well on the way to doing that. And hopefully if we continue, we'll get there.
Yep, and it's important work and really impressive work as well. And we look forward to following your journey as you go to that target and hopefully well beyond it. So congratulations tonight, Adam, and good luck in the future.
Thanks again, and well done to everyone else, and well done for everyone else's awards tonight.
Thank you. For those of you who are paying close attention, you will perhaps not be surprised to know that our next award is our Large Business Award. And this is for those businesses with more than 251 employees. Our shortlist for this category is FMG, POLYPIPE, Premier Technical Services Group, and Sheffield FORGEMASTERS. And to tell us who's won, I'd like to welcome Matt Dixon, the Chief Executive of this category sponsor, eVay.
Thanks, Alex, and good evening, everyone. There's been a strong shortlist in the Large Business Awards category this year, and I'm pleased to announce that the winner is Sheffield FORGEMASTERS. Congratulations on your win, and have a great night.
Thank you very much.
Well, welcome back. So we talked earlier about investment and some of the work that had gone on the back of that. Well, I think one of the things that really stood out to the judges was investment in people. There's a really embedded, long-running apprenticeship scheme that I think in 2019 had done record numbers, and that sort of work, which you touched on in your earlier answers around being involved in the community in the local area, I think is really important. So how important is that apprenticeship scheme to the business?
Massively important. So we about 10% of our workforce is now apprentices, and that's really ramped up over the last couple of years. And I think we're quite a unique business in that we don't produce commodity products. They're all quite one-off products, and therefore there's a lot of knowledge that can go 10 years between a product being made or the same type of product being made. So if we lose the knowledge from the business of even little things that go into some of the products, it's a real big detriment to the business. So the whole idea of the apprenticeship scheme is to bring in the next generation and provide those opportunities for the next generation as well. Get them in at a young age, get them skilled up, and get them accustomed to our business. So the apprenticeship scheme is incredibly important for us.
And I used the word longevity with James a few minutes ago, and the apprenticeship scheme is a key part of one aspect of longevity. But obviously, Sheffield FORGEMASTERS can date its history back, centuries. They're one of the businesses I'm sure James had in mind when he said about them just being pups in comparison to some of the other manufacturers nearby. That pedigree is really important. What's the secret of the success at FORGEMASTERS in keeping that going?
I think, I said it before, and it probably sounded a bit arrogant, but we're quite a unique business. we can do things in the UK that no other steel manufacturing company can do, and that's because of the strange mix that we have in the business. So we have a forge, we have a foundry, we have a melt shop, which is quite unique in the UK and worldwide, to be honest. But then we also have an R&D department, and so that means that we can bring in those really complex components that take that, PhD level people to work out how we'll actually do it in the first place, and how we actually move every step through the factory, through melting the steel, to forming the product, to machining it. It takes a lot of expertise, and that's what makes us a little bit unique, I suppose, that we do have that combined set of skills, which is quite a disparate set of skills, but eventually for the unique and complex stuff, it comes together, and it allows us to do the stuff that not many other people can do.
Yeah, and that's what really delivers, I suppose, the value to your business and to the wider economy. So, I'm sure, given that you're a couple of centuries old, 2020 is just a well, no, although after this year I'm feeling it, but I'm sure there's a long and successful future ahead. So congratulations on your awards tonight.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to everyone else as well.
We've just got 2 awards left this evening, our final company award, and then the only award of the evening that goes to an individual. Just before we tell you who's won those 2 awards, I'd just like to say thank you to those people who have donated to Sue Ryder Manolands. And for those of you who'd like to, the URL is sueryder.org/donate. Anything that you can add to the work that they do is very much appreciated. So, on to the penultimate award, which is our fast growth business. This is the award of the evening that's really concentrated on the numbers. Obviously, our judges have taken into account the sustainability of the growth, what lies behind it, it's expected trajectory. But this is to recognise those businesses that are really delivering strong turnover growth. So our shortlist is Banwaite Group Holdings, Hortor, Premier Technical Services Group, SEVENHILLS Fabrication, and the Data Shed. And before we get on to the winner, I'd just like to introduce from our sponsor for this category, Boxfish, the Chief Executive, Nick Deacon-Elliott.
Good evening, everybody. Nick Deacon-Elliott here from Boxfish. So Boxfish are a Leeds-based cybersecurity company. We've developed a software platform that essentially helps businesses to identify high-risk users within their ecosystem, so whether that's staff, partners, people, contractors, so people that would maybe be higher on the risk score for falling foul to a cyber attack. About 95% of all successful cyber attacks involve human error at some point along the way, and we really exist to address that.
Thank you, Nick. And Boxfish are a great tech business in Yorkshire as well. That are also growing and doing some fantastic work. So fast growth business. I've already told you who's on the shortlist. Let's go straight back to Nick to find out who's won.
Good evening, everybody. Nick Deacon-Elliott here from Boxfish, and we're delighted to be sponsoring this evening the Fast Growth Business Awards. Now, there's been some great competition, and it's been a tough category. However, there is a winner. And the winner for this year's Fast Growth Business Awards is PTSG, Premier Technical Services Group.
Congratulations, Paul. Welcome to the awards. The 2019 seemed to be deliver on that continued combination of organic growth and acquisition. That's been such a successful combination for PTSG over several years. How do you look to get that blend right?
I think that's a very good question, and good evening to everybody. and thank you to the business desk for the awards. We've always been a mixture of organic growth and acquisition growth over the years. 28 acquisitions over the last 10 years, growing by about 40% a year for every year for 10 years. You're absolutely right. It's a difficult mix to balance between strong organic within the business and pushing our teams and developing the markets we're in, and also acquiring businesses and bringing new people into the team, which is always challenging, but always exciting as well to bring new faces and professional people into the business. So, yeah, I think it will remain a challenge. It has been a challenge along the way, but something we're very excited about, and something hopefully we've got the blend right. It ebbs and flows a little bit between one and the other, but overall the balance is pretty good.
You know, one of the aspects of such significant growth over such a sustained period of time is the speed at which your organisation has changed. What's that been like to lead and to drive forward, given how much it's changed and grown?
Yeah, I think as a CEO of any business, it's a tough act, and you know, having been a CEO for nearly 14 years now, you see a lot of change. I was a founder of the business as well, so we started with a few people, a handful of people, 2 or 3 people, and as I listened to the guys earlier with a very friendly dog, we were very much a family, and family is very important to us in the business. We're now 1,600 people, and that spirit is very hard to keep going, but something which is close to our hearts. Really, right from day one, we've always set the benchmark, the right standards, the right ethics in the business, that we will always do business in a certain way, and with a certain candour and Yorkshire spirit, if you like. And that's always been close to our hearts. And I think that's always set us well for the future. Our people are very important to us. The way they do business and our clients are very important to us. And so we take what we do very seriously, but at the same time, we enjoy what we do very much. And I think in any developing business, it's great to see people develop and come through the ranks of the business. People who have started off maybe lower down the ladder have ended up as directors and senior people within our group, and that's really good to see. And really, from our side of things, the investment in the people and the investment in the business is something we're very passionate about. And so that investment has really paid dividends along the way.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's clear just in the numbers, how successful the business is being and has been for several years. So congratulations, Paul, and we hope it continues long into the future.
Thank you very much. Very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. And now on to our final award of the evening. As I said a couple of minutes ago, this is our only award that goes to an individual. It's our Ambassador of the Year award. And the judges, when they are looking to choose who should be our ambassador, it's looking for an individual who has done something different, who has either driven their business forward to unexpected heights and successes, or has had a wider impact in the regional economy or on a national stage. We've got a great winner tonight, and I'm going to hand back over to our Yorkshire editor, Ben Ormsby, who will tell you who our ambassador is. Ben.
Thanks, Alex, and good evening again, everyone. I'm delighted to be back to announce the winner of potentially our most prestigious award tonight. There may be some jostling for that, but this award is the Ambassador Award. It's a special one because it can't be nominated for. The winner is selected by businessdesk.com and by the independent panel of judges. It looks to recognise someone whose contribution to business and the region has done tremendous things. And this year, the winner's story started in 1979 when she joined the business as an export manager. She went on to become the 3rd generation of the family to run the business and actually retired back in March. It gives me great pleasure to announce that Leslie Wild, the former chair of Betty's and Taylor's, is this year's Ambassador winner. Sadly, she can't be with us tonight, but we do have her replacement, Claire, who will be saying a few words. But before we get to that, I hope we can all raise a glass and say congratulations and thank you. Cheers.
Fantastic. Well, welcome, Claire, and thank you for joining us this evening. Now, Betty's and Taylor's will be familiar to hopefully everybody who's watching tonight. I think for many of us, we wouldn't have got through lockdown without the products that you create. But people will be less familiar, I think, with perhaps Leslie or her role and her achievements over her long career with the company. Would you be able to give a flavour of what she has done and what she's achieved with Betty's and Taylor's?
Yes, thanks, Alex. Thanks very much. I'm absolutely delighted to accept this award on Leslie's behalf, and really delighted that the business desk has decided to recognise her achievements in this way. As you say, Leslie joined the business in 1979 and spent 40 years in the business before retiring in March. She's left an absolutely fantastic legacy. If you look at our cafe tea rooms, for example, everything in the tea rooms, the shops, the cookery school, Betty's online, all of that, much of that has been lovingly created by Leslie over her 40 years in the business. And she did that both to delight customers today, but also to honour the vision of her uncle-in-law, Frederick Belmont, who started the business 100 years ago. And we've witnessed how much Betty's, you've talked about how much people love our products, and we've really witnessed how much they love Betty's and Taylor's, both in our centenary year, which was last year, and which this award really honours, but also more recently during COVID. When we had to close our cafe tea rooms, people came and took away their afternoon tea. When we had to close the shops, they've responded by shopping online much more than they had before. When we reopened, customers have come flocking back and have really been supporting us. And of course, throughout that, Yorkshire tea, our coffee, has been drunk by many, many people at home, because we're all at home drinking more tea and coffee. So I guess, the business that Leslie has helped create and develop, people have really found a reassuring presence, I think, during these difficult times. And we're really very grateful to all our customers for how much they've supported us during what's been a challenging time for all of us. In the last 10 years, Leslie became chair of the business. So having built up much of the Betty's business, she became the chair. And during that 10 years, our turnover trebled, profit doubled, and Yorkshire Tea celebrated its 40th birthday by becoming the #1 tea brand in the UK. And the coffee business and the international tea and coffee business continued to grow and thrive. And of course, that's fantastic for us, but that success has allowed us to ensure that the business is a force for good in the world, which is very important to our shareholders and our business. So, for example, we've invested in responsible sourcing of tea and coffee, which pays our suppliers a sustainable price, and a number of projects at Origin, providing water for rural communities, programs to reduce the risk of exploitation for women and girls in places like Assam, education for children in Kenya, and also an enormous global reforestation program in which we've planted more than 3 million trees over the past 30 years. So the business that Leslie has helped develop and grow over that time has been able to do all of those things. And she's got a great deal to be proud of. And I know that if she was here today, what she'd be saying is she was part of a team. You know, she was part of a team with members of her family, the founder, great uncle Frederick, her father-in-law Victor, who took over the business as a young man and then bought Taylor's Tea in the 1960s, her husband Jonathan, who created Yorkshire Tea and oversaw the transformation of a very successful tea and coffee business, and now the next generation, who are very active and engaged shareholders of the business. And I think she'd also want to pay tribute to all of the wonderful colleagues that she's worked with over her 40 years and who've helped to make Betty's and Taylor's the fantastic Yorkshire business it is. So I know if she's here today, she'd say this award is for all of those people. And she'd say, you know, raise a glass to everybody, because running a business like that is a real team effort. And I know that's what she'd want to say today. No. So I'm raising a glass to her on your behalf.
Thank you very much, and I wish we could be all together where the whole room could do the same, because you know Betty's is a business that everybody in Yorkshire feels that they've got a shareholding in, and there is that sense of kind of sort of community ownership about it, and everyone's very proud of the business and its success and the way it takes Yorkshire around the world. So you know, do pass on.
And equally with Yorkshire Tea. So, you know, both of those, I think you're right. We all feel an enormous pride in them. Just before I go, I just also want to say thank you so much for tonight, because it's been a really great evening, and thanks for putting it on. And I think it's so important, isn't it, in these challenging times, that we come together for events like this and we celebrate success and we support each other in what, you know, is a really difficult period for all of us. So thanks a lot on behalf of everybody tonight. And congratulations to all the other winners and all the shortlisted companies. Fantastic evening.
That's fantastic to hear. Well, thank you very much, Claire, for giving us that flavour of Leslie and her work. And you know, wish you all the best, Bettys and Taylors, in the years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. And you know, it has been fantastic for us at the business desk to be able to share these awards with you, even in these slightly abnormal times and fashion. And I know Lee J and the rest of the team, you know, would want me to pass on, you know, our thanks to you all for joining in tonight, for being part of the event, and for being part of Yorkshire's fantastic business community, and for giving us plenty of good things to write about on the business desk as well. In, you know, hopefully every morning, you know, we try and bring you that mixture of, you know, at the moment the reality of what's happening, but also some of the optimism, some of the growing companies and the good news that is also out there. And I hope also that tonight has showcased a lot of those businesses that do have those qualities I mentioned at the start of resilience, innovation, leadership. You know, I think there's an awful lot for us to be positive about, but we do very much look forward to being able to share that with you in person in the not too distant future. So finally, just to wrap up, if I could thank our sponsors tonight for their support, to those businesses who support us throughout the year, but particularly to you for being part of tonight and being part of what we hope is a prosperous future for Yorkshire businesses all across the region. Hope you have a good evening, and thank you very much.